welcome to Where Clay Meets Yarn. Today is Friday, October 1st. Yay!
It's October. This is Charan from Creative with Clay.
And I'm Nancy Torrance from Schmutzarella Yarns.
And it is October. Can you believe the year is just coming to an end? I feel October marks like the last, quarter of the year where it feels like, okay, kind of wrap up, start making the gifts you need to make. If you haven't started yet, you're too late. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's also like the beginning of the best month because it's all Halloween all the time.
I like it more because it's sweater weather than the Halloween thing.
Yeah. I had such a hard time deciding what I was going to wear today because I wanted to wear a Halloween shirt for the podcast.
Yeah, you're not wearing one.
Yes, I am.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, it's my, it's my Hocus Pocus kitties shirt. So it's Winifred and Mary and Sarah Sanderson from Hocus Pocus. It's my subtly Halloween shirt.
Yeah, because I know you have some serious Halloween shirts too. So,
but those will be coming up through the rest of the month and through the rest of the year. I mean, Tea Turtle just had a half off their Halloween shirt sale.
Oh,
so there's more coming.
I need to get some more t-shirts. Whenever I've worn, I think I just got 2 last year, and whenever I wear them, there are people pointing at me and laughing, going like ha ha ha, and I'm like, what's wrong? And then I have to realize that it's my t-shirt, not me. So
it does take some getting used to. Yeah. My favorite t-shirt story was back from when I was a receptionist. And I was wearing, it was Casual Friday. So I was wearing a sassy t-shirt, and it was Leap Day. And it was like the equation of the math and how it related to the rotation of the earth. All of that was on my shirt, right?
Uh-huh. And
I intentionally got up that morning and I chose to wear that shirt because it's valid one day out of every 4 years. And, it's first thing in the morning at work. I am not a morning person. And one of the guys, I'm like listening to the voicemails before I turn the phones on in the morning. And one of the guys who has a cubicle near mine comes up to say hi to me in the morning. And next thing I know, he's staring at my chest, like openly staring at my chest. And I'm like, what are you doing? But like, I'm on the phone and I'm dealing with that, so I can't say anything to him. And it was really weird. So he goes away. And I'm like, okay, that was really weird. I'm gonna have to talk to him later because like that wasn't cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, 5 minutes later, now the phones are on and I'm like answering the phone and doing that. He brings 2 of his buddies back and they all line up in front of my desk and they are actively staring at my chest. And I'm like,
it's a group stare.
What is happening? And so finally I hang up and I do the, put my eyes where my boobs are. And I'm like, can I help you boys? Like, your shirt's so awesome. We're trying to figure out if the math actually works. It was like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah. When you wear the sassy shirts and the punny shirts, and you have to get used to people staring and laughing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so weird. I had worked there for a couple of years at that point. I knew my coworkers pretty well. It was super out of character for them. But yeah, 3 guys right in front of my desk, just staring at my boobs.
I have a funny t-shirt story as well, but this like goes back as a kid, and probably I was traumatized because of it. Because parents bought your clothes, and I kind of never paid attention. So this is when I was young.
Yeah.
And I remember my t-shirt said FBI on it.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh yeah, detective t-shirt, whatever, So parents saw graphics FBI written on it and got me the t-shirt, wearing it. And I was in Mumbai, visiting summer vacation, wearing that t-shirt, and my cousins just couldn't stop laughing. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? The graphics of it were too complex. Like you had to kind of really pay attention. It just looked like a bunch of squiggly lines. But
Mhm.
if you paid attention, there were a bunch of bikinis drawn all over it. And it translated to Florida Bikini Inspector.
Oh, that would be traumatizing.
It was very traumatizing for a young kid to be wearing a
Poor
t-shirt.
kid. Oh, I mean, it's also kind of funny, but
It is funny, but at that time it wasn't funny for me. Later I
no.
realized it was funny, but I was like, I'm not going to wear any t-shirt that my parents get me.
Yeah, that seems fair.
So that's
Oh,
my
boy.
t-shirt story. Today I'm wearing the Guys Who Knit established 920 AD.
Yay.
I don't know if you can see the knit. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's a good t-shirt.
I have worn it for several years. I need to get more.
Well, yeah, since 920
Yeah. I need the guys who quilt, the guys who spin, the guys who do all kinds of other stuff.
the guys who do the crafty things.
Yes.
So since you're a guy who knits and are currently knitting, I think you're
Mhm.
currently knitting. What
Yes.
you knitting?
Oh, and I'm actually good point to stop me because I'm at the end of an endless row. I finally cast on. I remember did I talk about it last time? I don't know, but I was watching for a blanket. And I was going to do the bounce blanket, but was looking for more zigzag patterns or chevron blanket patterns and more mindless ones. So I picked up the zigzag, not zigzag, but zigzag scarf pattern,
Mhm.
and basically modified that, cast on more stitches to do a blanket. And
shout
this
out to
is,
our friend Kristen, who's made a couple of those that
oh,
turn
the
us onto
zigzag
it, right?
blankets?
No, the scarf.
Oh, the scarves,
The
yeah.
zigzag scarf. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is it.
Oh, that's looking
And
cool.
it's matching my t-shirt, kind of. No,
Yeah.
it's more orangey red.
It coordinates.
It coordinates. That's what's more important. But yeah, I could just wear it like this.
That would be fabulous.
Yeah. But this is using the Barocco yarn that I had, and two sets of your minis, which I had shown last time.
Yeah.
And I'm holding your minis held double. And because I'm holding it double, I am using this, I balled it up into a center pull ball. So I'm using the outside and inside. And this is what I like using my yarn bowls for, because I can pull the inside of, there's the camera, the
Yeah.
inside of the yarn cake on one side and the outside on the other end, because it has cutouts on two sides. So my yarn ball doesn't go crazy, flopping around, twisting around, and doing all that madness.
I really need one of those.
I thought you had one of my yarn bowls.
No, I have mugs, and I have the little flat dishes,
Mm-hmm.
and I have more mugs. And the one not mug piece that I have is I have one of your actual like bowls.
Oh, the throne bowls.
No,
No.
the little boat bowls.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I actually discovered this more when I was doing a two-ply yarn out of singles. So I actually had, just to test out my theory, I plopped out. You know how hard it is to maintain your two plies if you're doing from the center and the outside. So I
Yeah.
was having trouble with that. So I plopped it in my yarn bowl, did the center from one end and the outside from the other end. You keep your yarn cake horizontal and do the pull, and it worked really well. So I don't do that much two-ply yarn, so I've not like thoroughly tested it. And my yarn bowl was not essentially made for those purposes. It's
Yeah.
just that I realized that it works really well for that.
It's one of those bonus uses, right?
Yes. It's like my small dishes, right? It's like I just made it to hold knitting notions, but there were people who told me that, you know what, they work very good as lids for my mugs too. And
They
I
do
brew
work
my
very well
tea
for that.
and they put their tea bag on it and everything. I said, yep, that's what it's for. It's a lid for your mug.
It's
Bonus
for
use.
whatever you want it to be for.
Yeah. So yeah, that is what I am working on. But should I share what I just finished? I have a finished object this time.
You have a finished object. Yeah, let's see.
It's still damp though, but
That's exciting. It's freshly finished.
it's very freshly finished. It still needs buttons, but oh, I hope I don't mess up the shape. But the N3's baby sweater is done.
That is so cute.
It's weird when your camera is like a reverse and you don't know which arm to put up straight. And you keep just making things more wonky than straightening them out.
Well, yeah.
But I really like it. I'll post a picture of the close-up of this because the colorway I really like the colorway. The yarn is from Earl Grey fibers or Earl Grey yarns. Do you know?
Earl Grey fibers.
Earl Grey fibers. And I purchased it 2-3 years back. And
wait, hold it up again. Because you did a close-up for the camera, but hold it back. You didn't get the whole thing in shot. It's so tiny and cute.
It is very tiny, and I still have some left over. This is DK weight yarn that I use for it, and yeah, it's like I've not knit many baby projects, but they are very gratifying actually, knowing that you just have to knit a little bit and it's done.
They're so satisfying, and they're tiny and they're cute and they go quickly. And yeah.
And it looks super cute. It's just like, oh, can you imagine this filled with a baby?
Okay, that's our episode title, Filled with a Baby. I'm here for that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let that be the title.
Yeah. Speaking of filling things with a baby, can I share what I'm working on?
Oh gosh. I'm afraid to ask.
Come here, Gomez. No. Oh man, could you imagine? Anyway, no, I'm just making a swatch.
Okay, good.
This is for a baby blanket, and it's the first winter blanket from Malabrigo. Okay. I'm not using Malabrigo, but it's their pattern. And I'm knitting with DK weight on size 8s. And I really just kind of wanted to throw caution to the wind and just start it because it's a blanket, and
yeah,
I have plenty of yarn. But because I don't know the parents well enough to know if they'll like actually hand wash and lay flat to dry, I'm going to chuck this swatch in the washing machine and see what happens.
Well, I don't know if I told you that's the reason why I was swatching. Was mostly to knit my swatch and put it in the washer, which I would normally do with superwash yarn.
Yeah.
Delicate wash cycle is what I would usually wash it, but I usually have never put things in a dryer.
Yeah.
This time around, I did put it in the dryer.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fine.
Yay.
The thing that I did do was I did swatch with size 8 and size 9 needles. But I like the way the size 9 actually is still drapey and squishy.
Oh, cool.
Because it did shrink just slightly. and I'm
Yeah,
like, I think it's a good idea to go with size 9 needles. So that's why you swatch,
awesome.
even if it's a blanket.
Yep. Well, and that's why it's important to swatch and then block it in the manner in which your finished object will be washed.
Mhm.
So, I could do a very nice swatch and hand wash it, lay it flat to dry, get it all nice and neat into dimensions. But
Mhm.
I don't think the parents are ever going to do
Yeah.
that with a blanket. And honestly, with the finished blanket, I don't really want to do that. I
Yeah.
want to chuck it in the washing machine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm swatching away on 8s, and I was going to do 8s and 7s, but I think you just made an excellent point. Maybe I'll have to swatch it on 9s as well to see how I like the fabric, because I'm actually liking the fabric quite a bit on the 8s, which I didn't think that I would,
Yeah.
but it seems nice and bouncy and squishy.
Hmm. For me too, I liked the size 8, nice, squishy, bouncy. And while I was knitting it, I was knitting with the size 9, and I was going like, yeah, this is just too open and too this thing. But after washing, it just changed my perspective. I'm like, no, the size 9 one looks like the size 8 when I was knitting. So I'm going to go
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, I see. Normally, I like DK for me with 7s.
Hmm.
That's what my star blanket is in. And I have washed and dried my star blanket. And I really like the way it came out, but I'm using different yarn this time. So I decided to go up a needle size to try it. So
What yarn are you using?
this is the yarn I'm using.
Oh, okay.
This is hand dyed by a friend of mine.
Oh,
It's actually not my yarn. Well, now it's my yarn,
yeah.
but a childhood friend of mine, somebody who I actually taught how to crochet when we were kids. She and I have been chatting during pandemic time. She lives in Wyoming.
Mhm.
And so we've been hanging out now more that, people are doing video calls and stuff like that. And we were talking more, and she had recently picked up yarn things again. She recently taught herself how to knit. And one day she like very guiltily admitted to me that she started dyeing yarn and she hadn't wanted to tell me because I don't know, she
You
thought
dye
that I'd
yarn?
be upset about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. Now I can actually talk about, I'm passionate about dyeing yarn. Like, you've played with color and the dye pots and all of that. You
Yeah.
get it. We can talk about this. This is cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I want some.
Mhm.
Please send to me. And I was ready to buy it off her or trade or whatever. And next thing I know, a package of, I thought one skein,
Mhm.
a package of 5 skeins shows up at my door. There were these 3 in DK. And I'm
That's
sure.
such a nice gradient.
Isn't
Like, do
that
they?
lovely?
Yeah, I like the speckled one, and those are pretty solids, right? The
They're pretty
tonals.
solid. This one is definitely a semi-solid.
Mhm.
This one, you can see on this side, has a little tiny bit of speckling.
Yeah.
But they go very nicely together. And she dyed them as a set to go together.
Mm.
And I was thinking of knitting like a 3 skein shawl
Mhm.
so that I could wear it. But then we found out that her sister was pregnant. And
Mm.
I've known her sister my whole life. It's her little sister. So, we used to terrorize her when we were kids. And so I want to make something for her sister, for a baby, because baby things.
Yeah.
And so I asked my friend if that was okay with her if I used the yarn that she dyed for me to make a blanket for her sister, for that baby. So we're keeping it all in the family. I
Nice.
think it's really special. It makes me
It
happy.
is.
So yeah, swatching for a blanket because it's not my yarn. I don't know what it's going to do if I chuck it in the washing machine. So we're going to swatch and find out.
And DK is a nice weight. Even I kind of this sweater I did in DK weight yarn, and worsted sometimes just feels too big for a kid.
Yeah, it
And
defeats purpose.
then fingering is nice, but then it's a lot of knitting. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
a DK is a nice in between. DK and sport are nice in betweens to go for.
Yeah.
So good choice and especially for blanket.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this blanket. I fell in love with the sample that Lindsay has up at Stilly River Yarns of
Oh,
it.
this is the one with the buttons on the side.
This is the one with the buttons.
Ah,
It like sort of envelope folds and
yeah.
creates a little hood and a little pocket to fill with a baby.
Oh, that's where the filling the baby
That's
is.
where the filling with the babies is. Oh man. I'm now all of the things that I make for babies from now until the end of time, I'm going to refer to as filling them with
Baby.
babies. Oh, it's so great.
It's fun to knit for babies, I think.
Yeah. So do you have any other baby projects you're working on? Or what other projects are you
No
working on?
baby projects. Um I did the muscle burrow hat is almost done, but like told last time, it's at that stage where I really like the yarn, I really like knitting with it, and I don't want it finished. Now only the decreases need to happen. It's a matter of, I think, sitting at it for like maybe half an hour and getting it done. Um, I I don't want to finish it, so that's where that is at. Um, I have overall just had a very busy week in the studio because I was trying to get a lot of clay stuff done. Uh, I'm doing the Lambtown Virtual Festival, which is this weekend.
Cool.
I don't know if this podcast will be out before all our virtual interviews and virtual show and tell and everything will be out. Plus, I don't know if my work will be ready and out of the kiln by then. So I've been really striving to get stuff done ready, but it's like, it just rained so much this week and stuff just dried so slowly. You cannot rush things in clay, and I'm like, okay, if it's not dry enough, I cannot help it. I cannot do the firings in time. So anyway, so I was busy doing that. And then the other thing I was really busy with was quilting, because, that's the new elephant, I guess, uh, in the room.
Yep. It's your new obsession.
It is. So I did talk about the class I was going to take on binding
Yeah.
last week, right? So I did take the class. The class was amazing by Nicholas Ball. He is Quilt in the Attic, I believe, on Instagram. We'll put the links down in the show notes. And so the class had so much information. It was information overload. I took so many notes, so many pictures, so many drawings, and everything, whatever I could. This is a virtual class, and like there were 7 different kinds of bindings.
Oh wow.
Essentially 4, but like one of them you could apply to 3 different kinds of quilts with variations in it. But so I have some to show, and I also learned to quilt on my machine, which I will get to soon. But like this is one of them. So don't judge the fabrics. I'd shown the fabrics last time. These are weird fabrics. This is just for the purpose of doing stuff in class.
Okay, just look at the edges.
Yeah,
Got it.
just look at the edges. This one is all hand bound at the back,
That's
and
really nice.
this is like a more traditional one, but it is much narrower and a lot firm,
Yeah.
and it's a lot more steady, which looks, for a hanging quilt, I think it's a really nice
Oh, okay.
kind of decorative quilt. This is the other one. Now, does it appear wonky enough on the
It
screen?
looks wonky.
Yeah, so it has curved edges, but you
Oh,
can
okay.
see the quilt goes all the way to the edge. There is no binding
Yeah.
on it. It's because it's faced
Oh,
that way. And so the quilt goes all the way to the edge. if I have a very interesting decorative improv quilt out here, sometimes I don't want to frame it up. I want the quilt to go edge
Go
to
all the
edge.
way to the edge. Yeah.
Right. And then I can apply it to a, perfectly square quilt or curvy edge quilt
Cool.
as well. But it makes a really neat edge. Now, this one, again, I was supposed to hand bind this all at the back,
Mhm.
but I didn't. I just, machine did it because I'm like, okay, I get the part of folding it and everything. That's the tricky part. Now I'm just going to sew it and get it done. And this is a fun one. This is
Ooh.
no corners, no edges, again facing, but this is like a pillow technique. You kind of make a pillow and turn it inside out.
Okay, I'm still
And
judging the fabrics because that
yeah,
combination is beautiful and I love it.
it's too weird.
It's Thomas is framed by flowers. It's so good.
Yeah, by purple flowers. I have, as you can tell, I have a lot of this fabric. And
Yep.
I finally got it down to, I think, only a fat quarters bit. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just chop it up into strips so that I don't have to see it whole anymore.
Perfect.
But yeah, this is that, all curved. If I make a quilt with no corners in it,
Yeah, that's really neat.
so that will happen. And this is the one I still didn't finish the whole thing, but I'll put closer pictures. But this is that Welsh technique. Can you
Oh,
see where it's all hand quilted along the edge, but the two surfaces are butted against each other. It's a little complex technique, but fun to do.
cool.
So so yeah, those are the essential different techniques we did. And then I learned how to machine quilt, which you saw in some of those pieces. So I did a bunch of machine quilting. So you can see all
Oh,
kinds of
wow.
freehand, and I'm putting it at an angle so you can actually
Oh, I
see
love the zigzags and the curly cues. You had
yeah,
fun with that one.
yeah, this was fun. And then, yeah, I like this one too. It has
Just the wibbly lines.
wiggly curve lines on it. I still have to like bind them with something, but this was I
Yeah.
was just going crazy with. So,
Oh, I really like it.
and one tool that I really liked that really helped me in this was wearing gloves. That's the thing I was having trouble with.
Mhm.
I couldn't catch hold of my quilt and move it. It just felt like it was slipping away from my hands every time.
Yeah.
And then I saw Karen Brown's video from Just Get It Done Quilts,
Mhm.
where she has these dollar store hacks, and
Yeah,
she
I've seen
uses
those.
these gardening gloves for quilting.
Yeah.
And so I went, and what she does is she uses those gardening gloves because they have the nice grip on them, and she clips off the fingers, at
Mhm.
least of one or two fingers, so that you get a really good grip, and you still have your fingers free to pick up thread or anything else.
Nice. Okay.
So I was like, okay, let me just go to my local Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store, and see if they have anything. And they had the most perfect thing, which I was amazed by. They had gloves with the fingers already cut out.
That is so great.
And I have no idea what their purpose is, but they were in the gardening section,
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
and they are so neatly cut out, so I don't have to cut and deal with it unraveling and doing all kinds of things. So yeah, I got a pair of these, and this made moving that whole quilt sandwich so much easier.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so I think the clouds that I did on this one were done after I got the
Oh, okay.
gloves. So I got a lot more control, and that's all free motion quilting, so it's has
Oh, that's
has
neat.
some nice definition on that. But yeah, I think with the quilting, it's just like there's just so much of a learning curve. You just have to keep doing it till you get
Yeah.
better at it. There is no, oh, you have the perfect tool. Now everything will be perfect from now on. That never happens.
Oh, with that perfect tool. Next time you go back to Daiso,
Hmm.
put me down for a pair of gloves, please.
Okay.
I don't have a Daiso by me.
Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm. The closest one I think is Linwood, and I don't get down to Linwood very often.
It's right in the Federal Way Mall here, and the mall doesn't have anything exciting in it, but there is a FedEx right next to it. And whenever I have to drop by the FedEx, it's usually to ship an order to a yarn shop or something.
Mhm.
So I always have to treat myself to something like, yeah, you made so many mugs and you got to ship it in time. You get to go to Daiso and spend some money. So
Yay!
it's my and it's a really big size store in Federal Way. So it's kind of nice that they have stuff to eat as well, very interesting snacks, and and there's a lot of new stuff every time I go there. So
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, so it's not the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, next time I visit you, we're gonna have to go there because
Yes.
your Daiso is much larger than my Daiso.
Well, you don't have a Daiso, so of course.
Well, my closest
Your
Daiso.
closest Daiso, yeah. Anyway,
Oh.
so that was happening at my end.
Let's see. On my side of things, I definitely forgot to grab the thing that I was going to share, so I'll share it next time. Today I spent the good portion of the morning putting together. It was a little late, but we got them out. My September movie night club shipped out today.
Oh, nice.
And next week I will probably share pictures of the colorway because I was really happy with it. But since they just shipped, I don't want to spoil it for anybody if they see the podcast. But I should say that signups are now open for October's movie night, and the theme for October is Zombieland. I'm very excited about this.
I think you might want to explain what this whole movie club is all about, because people might not know what you're talking about.
I just talk like everybody knows my entire life.
No.
My movie night club is a monthly yarn subscription where I have the next 12 movies planned out. You can go to my website and see what the movies are coming up. And it's a no frills club. You get a skein of yarn, you get a stitch marker that coordinates, and a little blurb of what the inspiration is, and that's it. But we've done things like Zoolander's colorway from it was from a couple years ago, was Freak Gasoline Fight Accident, and I did Miracle on 34th Street, which that colorway was, it's the imagination. And so the movie I just shipped out was Emperor's New Groove, but I'm not going to say what the theme was because spoilers. But yeah, next month is Zombieland. I have 2 ideas for what colorway it's going to be. I need to watch Zombieland again this week and make sure that I know what I want to do. I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do. I'm very excited about it.
Which one did I sign up for? Coco, right?
You signed up for Coco. Coco's November.
That's November? Okay.
I'm also pretty sure I want to do for that one too. Yeah, the rest of the year is going to be Zombieland for October, Coco for November, and Gremlins for December.
So I'm really excited about Coco because I really like the movie. I like the colors, but I'm very curious to see what I'm going to get in the package and see the yarn, like how you are going to represent Coco and what in Coco are you going to represent. Like,
because I never do the obvious thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be the obvious thing.
I always pull out some random little detail in the movie that just makes me happy. I don't know.
And that's what I'm
excited. Probably going to be an obvious thing. We'll see. It's the thing I'm excited about. Yeah, I don't know about Coco. I've only ever seen Coco once. I gotta watch it again.
I've seen it twice and I want to see it again. But I think I will want to see it just before you're shipping the yarn. Or maybe after.
See, I have a lot of people who like to do a movie night when they receive the yarn so that they can then watch the movie and like find the little bit that I dyed.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. So yeah, that's the work thing. The other thing that let me double check. I don't think I have it here. No, I didn't grab it. We can insert a picture. The other thing I did was I dyed a new limited edition mini set that's called Plant Babies. It's inspired by houseplants. So it fades from green to brown. And it's a little variegated. And there's, at the time of this recording, there are only 8 packs still available. I'm just putting it on my website today. So
these are like morphing minis?
Yeah, my morphing minis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's like 550 yards or something, right?
552 yards of fingering weight yarn over 6 mini skeins.
Yeah.
And you're using the minis held double for your
for my blanket.
You're using one of my, I think my last, is it my last limited edition minis? Happy fall, y'all, from last year. Is what you're using, right?
I don't know. You know how bad I am with names.
Just say yes. I remember my yarn.
Yes, I remember. Like as good as Nancy is with names and colorways and stuff, I'm like the exact opposite. Oh. I'm using the one which goes from like this orangish red to dark blackish red. Is my
That's fair
conclusion.
It's happy fall, y'all.
It's happy fall.
Oh God, I felt so guilty. Last night I went and played board games with a friend who I made the coasters with, or not with, for. And so I delivered the coasters and they were very much appreciated and it fit their mugs very well. But the first thing that he did after I gave it to him was he held it up and he goes, "This is so cool. I love how the color moves," because it was a variegated skein. "What is the colorway name?" And I went, "I don't know."
Oh, this is sugar and cream. You got.
He goes, "Really? You don't know? You're always so good about what the names are." And I went, "Oh no, it's not my yarn. It's like store-bought cotton yarn."
They don't have
then I had to like explain why it wasn't my hand dyed and all of that. I felt so guilty. I mean, I stand by for coasters. I think coasters are good with cotton. It helps with the heat. It absorbs much faster than wool does. All of that kind of stuff. There was a reason I did them out of cotton. But yeah, first question, what's the colorway name? Crap. So yeah, but I'm really happy with how the coasters came out and they were very nice while we were playing games last night.
Oh, that's good. I think you sent me a picture. The only thing which felt, and I think I'll post that picture here and other people can point out what's wrong with it. It doesn't have a handmade mug on it. That's what's wrong with it.
I mean, every time I turn around, I do recommend your mugs to them. That is the worst thing about the picture.
Yeah, but those are really nice coasters. So.
Yeah. And then what I was knitting on while we were playing were my rainbow socks. So that's what I started. I didn't start knitting on them last week. I had picked up a work in progress. That's what I was knitting on during the podcast. And look at how much further they are now.
Oh, wow.
Like last time, I'm really getting blown out here. Can I do something about that? There we go. That's a little better. See, I'm all the way up to purple now. Last time I was right about here. So playing board games, I just flew through it.
Social knitting.
Good social knitting. I think I've already started the ribbing on this one. Ta-da!
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's really close to done. And so, yeah, I only have about 20 rows left on each sock. So we're getting there.
Talking about socks, It's October, right?
Yeah.
I
It's
keep
October
hearing
1st.
the term Socktober.
Yeah.
What is Socktober about? Just
It's
knitting socks in the month of October?
knitting socks in October. That's
Okay.
it. There are a lot of things that can be done with Socktober or Socktoberfest.
Mhm,
I know sometimes local yarn stores will do sock yarn discounts, that kind of thing,
mhm,
or there's a lot of knit alongs that happen during the month of October for
mhm.
socks. It's fun to say Socktober, really, is
Yeah,
what it's about.
it is. I thought there was a deeper meaning to it, but
There could
like
be.
most things.
If you know the deeper meaning of Socktoberfest, please put it in the comments below and educate us,
Yes,
because
please.
I'm sure that there is. I mean, it had to originate somewhere.
Yeah,
It wasn't just that somebody thought that was a fun way to say. There had to be a first Socktober celebrant, right?
right. And you knit your socks toe up, right?
Yeah.
And I do as well. That's my favorite method. But I, when I go to shows, well, I used to go to shows, or whenever that was a thing,
Back when you
socks,
went to shows.
back when I went to shows, let's put it that way. I don't even know how to frame that sentence anymore. But I used to always be knitting on socks or spinning on my spindles. But when I was knitting on my socks, easy project, good social knitting, good for shows. There were so many knitters who used to come by my booth and be like, oh wow, you can knit socks. And they have knit sweaters, they have knit shawls, they have knit scarves and everything. And they just go like, oh, but I can just never knit socks. And I I always used to come across those people.
Yep.
And I really wonder as to what is it that really stops people, or
People are afraid of the tiny needles.
is that what you think?
I think so, yeah. It's teeny tiny stitches.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of shaping, which is, you need that kind of shaping in a lot of sweaters and that kind of thing. But
Exactly, that's what I thought. And I'm like,
it's the tiny stitches, it's the tiny needles.
and if they're talking about stitches, stitches in a big shawl or a sweater are a lot more than socks. So it's like, there's nothing to be overwhelmed about. But if there is another reason other than the tiny thing, please let us know in the comments, because I would like to know why people fear socks so much. And it's like the most fun thing. And once you know how to do it, you can modify those recipes to fit your foot and everything. And then it'll be like this one thing that you can just knit without thinking. You have your recipe and you can just go with it. It's like such an easy knit just do. So
yeah, it's all about putting in the effort to find the combination of things that make it so you find the socks that you really like.
yeah. But that's with any fitted thing, right? Even when
Yep.
you're doing sweaters, it's kind of like the kind of necklines you like. Do you like cardigans or pullovers? Do you like V-necks? Do you like ease? How much ease? Where do you like the ease? It's like, unless you don't make the sweater, you will not know those answers. And with
Yep.
every sweater, you learn and you move forward. So yeah, and socks is such a small project to do all that on. Like, so I feel people need to be tackling socks a lot more.
Yes, more sock knitters.
Yes. Let's celebrate Socktober with more sock knitters then.
We're gonna do Socktober, let's Socktober. You know what that means then?
But
Someone else needs to start a pair of socks.
I probably shouldn't I? I should
I
have
mean, you're the
thought
one that's
before
all
I
about
start.
Socktober.
I guess I should start knitting some socks.
Do
And it
it.
would be good podcast knitting, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Um, this blanket I am knitting, it is really nice mindless knitting and it can be good, but the thing is, it's like every now and then I do need to look at my knitting, because I have to do two togethers and I have to do knit front and back, and I'm holding the yarn held together. I want to make sure I catch both the strands, so every
Yeah.
now and then I keep having to look down on it. And I'm like, socks, I can knit. Yeah,
Sounds like a
blind.
good time to do socks.
It does. Now I'll have to find out. Like I have to get that whole bin of sock yarn and see which ones do I cast on now. So
Yeah,
I do have some nice self-striping.
that'll be nice. Now, this makes me want to cast on a new pair of socks.
Yeah, it's that
But
thing. It's,
I had some socks set aside, but if we're
Mhm.
doing Socktober socks, it's not gonna. I don't feel like I can use my work in progress because that's just about done. And then today, if I finished my swatch, I was going to make the mate for this sock. Wow, that's super blown out. Here we go.
yeah.
Just bright
yeah.
yellow and speckledy.
Uh-huh.
But it's only one. I knit this as a sample several years ago, and now it's finally time for it to have its mate. So that was what I was going to do next, but now I feel like I should start socks with you.
Yeah. Now see, I do have a sock knitting machine as well. So I do occasionally knit socks for myself on it, but I do like hand knitting socks a lot too. So I would be hand knitting October socks if we do land up doing socks. And once I do decide which sock yarn to use for it. But yeah, with the tubes too, it's I can knit a whole sock on it, but there are always people who struggle with the whole gift giving idea of socks, because once you know you're a knitter, that's one thing which everyone demands of you. Oh, and you knit socks, can you make me a pair? As it's that easy. We just talked about there are people who fear socks knitting, so it's not that hard, but I can make it simpler. If you send me sock yarn, I can knit it into tubes, and you can just add the toes, heels, and cuffs, and you can have your socks ready for the holiday season.
So if I want to do that, do you have a tutorial?
Now you want me to do a tutorial too? I have a link on my website in that listing for Afterthought Heels, but maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should knit a tube and then go through the whole process of how I add a toe to it and how I add a heel for the size of foot I need, and do that. So if there is any interest, in that, mention in the comments, then I will work on it. If nobody comments anything, then I'm not doing extra work. See how I can get away.
I'm gonna go after this and post so many comments. It's gonna be great.
Okay. So I guess then I'll have to do the video. But yeah, it's one of those things which I feel that, well, I guess people know how to do it. And then you go out into the world and realize that everyone is going like, I have no clue. I have the tube. I just don't know how to cut into it. I'm too scared or something. So I think a tutorial won't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Thanks. More work, Nancy.
You're welcome. I'm so helpful.
Yes, you are.
So should I drastically change the subject now?
Yes, please, before I get more work to do.
Okay, let's see. Let's rapid fire through a couple of my projects because this has already gone on quite long. I have no idea when we started today, but I finally had to upgrade my ghost project into the large project bag.
Oh, nice.
And I did a substantial amount of work on this, and I don't know that it's going to show up on the camera.
Just shows up as white. No, I do see a slight gradient color shift.
I've added about a minute and a half of starting the color shift.
Yeah.
But I should really put a marker on here from where I am today. So next week we can see what my progress is. But yeah, if I look through the ghost eyes, which is what I'm totally doing.
Creepy.
And balance it on my head, you can kind of see right here is where the gradient is starting to shift. So we're getting into grays, getting into progress.
That's going to look great finished.
So this is the beginning of clue 3 for the Lift Your Spirits Mystery Crochet Along. And I made substantial progress on my Halloween wreath.
Oh,
I had a day where I just like busted it out, man.
those days are good.
Look at that.
Wow. Oh, I like the broom.
Isn't the broom great?
Yeah, I didn't even think I would like the broom. For me, it was like, the bottles would look cool, which they do look cool.
But the broom
The
is
broom
awesome. Look
is
at that.
awesome.
The
Yeah,
detail.
that's
And
really
it's going to get covered.
what?
The next thing that I'm doing is a witch's sock boot thing.
Mm-hmm.
All of the pieces are, see if I can hold it up like this. All of the pieces are still loose. I just cut them out today. So this will kind of give you the idea.
Oh yeah, I see the boots.
And
And the
so
buckle.
it's going to go balancing everything on my head today.
I know the
It's going
shawl.
to go. I can
That
take it
could be
one
your
just-
Halloween costume.
Just be the wreath.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, stay. This sock goes like right here.
Uh-huh.
So it's covering all of this little funky detail.
No, so shift it up. That
I'm
funky
going to see if
detail
I
is
can
so
shift
cool.
it. Part of the reason why I feel like I'm going to have to put there is there are dotted lines printed
Mhm.
on the felt. So I'm
Oh,
going to
it
have to
won't
cover
cover it.
that somehow. But
Improv it. Put some sequence on it. Cover it up some other way. Don't
I will
hide the
have to
detail
figure
of
it
that
out.
broom. That's the best part
broom
about
is
the broom.
cool.
Yeah.
Look at my hair sticking up. I love that.
That's the fun part about putting things over your head.
Yes. Yes. We're
Instant
just going to leave
hairdo.
that there now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh my God. It fits my face beautifully. Look
It
at that.
does. It does. Yeah. You should do the rest of the podcast this way. I think.
But I can't, I can do that. Okay. We'll just leave it there.
I'm so happy you just listen to whatever I say. You go like,
I mean,
yeah.
only the things that I think are ridiculous and that I'm up to doing. It's starting to fall though. Okay.
Okay.
Stay.
Maybe, yeah,
Stay. No, it's hitting my shirt and then wanting to slide.
Okay, fine. Get rid of it.
Nope. I've committed to the bit now. It's all your fault. So I've started another Halloween project.
What? Man, when you go in Halloween, you just go in like overdrive mode.
Yes, it's my favorite. Okay,
Yeah,
now
I
it's
know.
falling.
Okay, just, yeah, set it aside. This will become too much to edit if it keeps falling. Don't want more
for
work.
Charan. More work for Charan. I mean, then you can tell the people at Lambtown, sorry, I don't have any mugs. I was up all night editing my podcast.
Yeah, I could do that.
So yeah, this is my new project.
What is it? Cross stitch?
It's plastic canvas that's an embroidery style.
Oh, I have that. My friend Ginger Steele gifted that to me at the beginning of the pandemic. She's like, here, this is something you can do. And I'm like, what? No.
Yep. It's so like for cross stitch, you do on fabric, and 14 count means there's 14 stitches per inch. That's like the standard cross stitch. This is plastic because plastic canvas.
Yeah.
And there's 7 stitches per inch. So it's a lot bigger.
Yeah. And you get these big darning needles.
And it goes a lot faster. Yeah. The needle that I'm using is here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I am making, I ordered a kit from Mary Maxim. I ordered a ghost house tissue box cover. Look at how cute it is.
It
I'm
is.
so excited about it.
The tissue looks like a ghost coming out. Jiminy, is it?
It makes me so happy.
So you are what do you call it? Doing the embroidery on the plastic, and you're going to cut up
and then
pieces,
I'm going to cut it out
and then
sew
join
it all
them together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is the front of the house.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
I
kind
can
of
see
see.
that. Yeah.
And it's originally when I bought the kit, because the kit was on sale, I was
Mhm,
like, I'll just use my own yarn and we'll make it fancy. But
mhm.
the yarn came all divided up by color and pre-cut to strands, so I just have to grab one and go.
Yeah.
So I'm using the yarn that came with the kit, man.
Yeah. Wow. Is it like
Um,
worsted weight yarn that you use?
it's worsted weight acrylic.
Yeah.
It feels like Red Heart.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard wearing, which is good for a tissue box cover. You can wash it
Mhm,
then.
mhm.
So yeah,
No,
this is
these kind
my,
of items never get washed. These are just dust collectors. So it's a perfect yarn for that.
this is so 80s, 90s.
Yeah. Mhm,
This is something my grandmother absolutely would have made, and that makes me very happy. This, by the way, plastic canvas was my very, very, very first fiber love.
Oh, wow.
When I was a very small child, that was what my grandma taught me how to do. That was my first project, was plastic canvas. She had sheets and sheets and sheets of plastic canvas available. And that was when there were a lot more plastic canvas patterns readily available. And I remember she had one that made food. So like there was little slices of cake, and you could make a cupcake, and you could make something that looked like a sandwich. And I was like 3 at the time, so I thought this was the coolest thing ever. I never made the ketchup and mustard bottle, but I really wanted to.
Mm.
And yeah, that's how she taught me to work with yarn. And it was so cool because she had this epic stash of, it seemed magical to me at the time. It was all Red Heart. But all of these colors, and I could literally pick whatever I wanted and go into her craft room and
Mhm.
get all of the supplies. So I was staying with my grandparents. I could make something new.
So stash collecting is not like a new thing. It had been
No.
around forever.
Yes.
Good.
And I come by it naturally. But yeah, see, here's all of the pre-cut
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and
so much
sorted.
easier to just pick out and use.
And what's nice is they're all cut into 1 yard lengths.
Yeah.
So it feels silly that I started a new project because I have so many other projects.
Mhm.
But it's the thing that I've been doing at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, because I can sit down and quickly work up 1 or 2 strands of yarn. And then I have like a dedicated stopping point.
Mhm.
So I can just sit down and do it for a couple of minutes and make a little bit of quick progress and
Yeah.
call it good. I'm sorry, did I bother you? Gomez is right next to me on his cat tree.
Oh, he's finally getting comfortable to come on camera or no?
No, he's
Mm.
napping and just glared at me for bumping his tree. Okay, final show and tell, because I knew I had
Oh my
something else
God,
buried
you're
in
on
here.
a roll.
I'm on a roll. I have been doing shit, man.
Yeah.
We will go this one first. I finished my first plied yarn from Tweety the
Oh,
Sparrow.
yes. That's that watermelon colorway.
Yeah.
I like how
So
that came out.
it's been resting on its bobbin. I need to wind it off and soak it, but I'm really happy with how this came out. It was a really nice spin. And the bobbin end looks so pretty. Look at
Oh,
that.
yeah. So it's interesting. You didn't rest your singles.
I rested them overnight.
That's not called resting, but
It's like
okay.
taking a nap, okay?
Yeah, it's resting.
It was taking a nap. No, I wanted to free up the bobbin right away.
Yeah.
So I didn't, which normally I do, but since I only have Tweety for a limited time, we went faster. And then because Halloween times are coming,
Oh my goodness. What did you start? Oh, wow.
I started, this is called Villain from End of the Whirl on Etsy. And Whirl
Nice.
is WHORL. And it's their merino bamboo nylon blend. So I'm doing it for socks. So this is 1/3 of it. I'm going to do a traditional 3-ply out of it.
Mhm.
And it's spooky. I'm going to have spooky hand spun socks.
Do a chain ply.
No,
I told you chain ply lasts so much longer than the traditional. At least for me it did.
No. no,
Okay. Well,
traditional 3-ply.
okay.
I haven't gotten into the rhythm yet on Tweety for doing a chain ply.
No.
So we're gonna do traditional 3-ply. It'll be great. And if I was gonna do a chain ply, I wouldn't have divided the fiber like I already have.
Yes.
Because I intentionally like broke it up into itty bitty pieces
Mhm.
and am grabbing them randomly out of
Mhm.
the bag so I could have random stripes.
Yeah.
There are parts where it goes black, green. The colorway was originally dyed black, green, black, purple, black, and repeat.
Mhm.
I ripped it up so it'll go black, green, black, green, black, black, purple, green, black. And so if I had to knit up socks with that harsh random striping, that would drive me bonkers. So yeah, I had all of the projects today. I've been working
You
on so
did.
many things. But I think that's all of it. No, one more. Last one.
Oh my
Last one, I
goodness.
promise. Last one. It's the one I told you to remind me about.
Oh yeah. Diamond painting.
Because a diamond painting I forgot to share it last week. And I have made such good progress on it. Are you ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Oh wow.
Look at that.
The
I'm
eyes
so
are
excited
appearing.
about it. Yeah, I haven't actually done any of the eyes yet, but you can really see where they're going to go. That's the next thing I'm going to work on, the eyes and the whiskers over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, last time I was about here and up.
Yeah, the ears also you hadn't barely started the ears.
No, I had just sort of done the tips
Yeah.
of the ears. I'd finished the tree and started coming down this side, but that was about it. And so now if you can see there's sort of a line going through the eye there. That's the halfway point.
Oh, that's the halfway point.
That's the halfway point. So I'm a little bit below halfway here and here. So that makes up for, I'd say that I'm about halfway done.
Yeah.
Which is good because today's October 1st, which means we're already a month through Drills and Chills. So I want to try to finish it by the end of October.
Right.
So I've got half of it to do by the end of October.
Cool.
But I can.
Yeah.
It's so sparkly. So yeah.
Okay, I reached an interesting point in my project, which I might need to ask. I was knitting this along, and plan was to do 5 garter ridges of the gradient, and then 2 ridges of the yellow, and continue that way. I have only so much left of the gradient yarn that I'm using. Should I continue with it or just use another gradient in the next section?
Have you already done your 5 rows?
Yes,
or is that 4 rows?
I have.
Okay.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5.
So normally your plan was to switch now and go to, okay. So that's up to you.
Because it is only so much. I think it'll barely make a single row.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll make a whole ridge even.
No. When I use minis, I have a tendency to like to change in the middle of a row. So that would be fine. That sort of helps with the overall gradient look. But you worked it out so that one mini will do a whole stripe.
Right.
So I could see wanting to you don't have to carry yarn up or anything. You could just end it there. I feel like that's just totally a personal call.
Yeah, it might. I don't think it'll make that much difference in yardage because I'll, in the length of the whole thing, because there are 12 minis, so I'll be short of 12 ridges maybe, or 6 ridges in the entire blanket, which is not that big a deal.
Yeah, so it would be you're losing one extra section.
Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
I think it called for a very natural place to stop it without much planning. And
Yeah. And
now
that's
they'll
a
be like,
really nice size
yeah,
chevron you've got.
yeah.
And
And
then you have little bits of sock yarn left.
yes, they might be enough to do socks.
That's going to
Maybe.
really be pushing it. It'll
Okay.
be enough to do sock.
Let's sock then.
Baby socks. You could do gradient baby socks. Put a baby in it.
Put a baby.
Fill it with a baby.
No, fill it with a baby. Before we keep finding more stuff to fill babies in, I think we should end this episode.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
I hope you all enjoyed, had fun listening to today's chatter. And yeah, if you like anything, have suggestions on what we should talk about, feel free to comment, like, subscribe the video, get notifications so that you can keep listening to us.
Yeah. Check out the show notes below for any of the things that we talked about today and follow us on social medias.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I kind of picked Coco because I like the colors in the movie. I like the movie and everything. Now I'm like very excited.
Mailman's here.
Mailman's here.
Pastor's excited.
Yes.